Hey, how are y'all? How are y'all? My name is Diamond Stylz. I go live every Friday at 7. And today we are going to talk about what the title says. I kind of worded the title a little ambiguously in the hopes that y'all will be able to get what I'm talking about. If you are new here, we the the chat, if you want to join the chat, you have to be a subscriber for at least 2 hours so that you can join. I think I have it set to that. I don't remember doing that part today. Wait, while I'm thinking about it, maybe. Let me see. I don't know. We might be in the Wild Wild West today. I think I forgot to put the settings. Well, this is where we're at. We'll figure it out. If somebody get weird, we're just gonna block them. Anyway, I usually have the settings to where only subscribers can join, but maybe today we feeling spicy because I don't remember doing because there's a little thing that you gotta do, and I don't remember doing. I think I forgot to do it, so we might be, honey, might be everybody join. So, yeah, this week I went to see T.S. Madison and Craig the writer at their live show, um, Fag Talk, and here in Houston, and I had a dope ass time. They did a show 3 nights here. I went to the first 2 nights. I had to work the third night, so I couldn't come, which apparently that was the biggest night. But I was there for the first 2 nights, and um, it was dope. I had a wonderful time. We had some funny conversations, had some good conversations, and it just was so good. It was at the House of Blues downtown. And yeah, it was a dope ass time. So I kind of this conversation was inspired by that. We had it just yeah. If Madison ever comes to your town with Fag Talk, make sure y'all go see her because it's a good, it's a good time. Her and Craig cuts up, but they also have some good, powerful, deep, and thoughtful conversations blended in with the humor. And so, I think that's what makes us love her. So I had a good time. Hey CL, hey Turner, hey Blah. So the first night, I can't remember. What did we talk about the first night? I can't remember what we talked about the first night, but this is inspired by the second night because we had some conversation about men and men we like, and there was a lot of cisgender women in there that were, and we talked there, and we talked about bisexuality, what we want our man to do, what we don't want our man to do, and I was, you know, sharing. There was a statement made about women, cis women, not wanting to date bisexual men, and that conversation grew from just talking about DL men in general and how you know we don't have a culture that allows men to be honest and blah 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 blah. Y'all know how it can lead to that. So then we have a conversation about who would date. Is there anybody in the crowd who would date somebody who is bisexual? And there was a couple of cis women that got up and talked about their experience and how hell yeah, I'm down with that, and blah 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 blah. Is this topic what I think it is? I hope. Hello, Andre. Hey, Naira. So, so yeah, so the conversation led to that, and so she turned the mic over to me, asking me my thoughts about, this is after Madison said that, you know, she can't be with a man. She can be with them on some hookup, sneaky link type of stuff, just a hookup. But her man, her husband, her boyfriend, her in a relationship, he can't be somebody that bottoms. So I said my response to her was that's rooted in homophobia. And so her and some of the cis women in the crowd was like, no, that's not homophobia. And da da da. I was like, yeah, it is. It is. And all of us everybody was joining in and having a good conversation about it. And it was dope. And, it was really, really good. It sparked conversation. So I wanted to extend the conversation here to my audience and ask how I and talk, tell some stories and how my mind started to change about it and how I started to understand that, how I started to understand how it is rooted in homophobia and rooted in, you know, the same thing that the cis women why they don't want to date by men. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, so that's what we're gonna talk about today. How are y'all doing? How was y'all week? We're on Friday. Um this week has been really good. I had a good, brief but good conversation with my neighbor, and it was just kind of like a sweet. I've been living where I stay since 2011, so I've been here a long time, and my neighbor. She was here before me, so her and her husband was here before me, and so we've been neighbors for a very long time, but we don't speak to each other. Well, no, that's a lie. We do speak, but we don't have conversations. If I'm coming out the door, when she's coming out the door, good morning, good morning. It's a basic stuff like that. So nothing major. And so we had our like first like kind of sit on the porch and talk conversation. That was literally the first time we ever done that. And it was kind of like interesting. It was so sweet and so simple. And so now she's doing little sweet stuff. Like she sweeping my porch. I will I have my camera, my ring light, it has a motion detector on it. So of course it's recording because it's ring light, duh. But I have it set to where a certain area, if somebody come up to my door, it will send me an alert on my phone. And so I clicked the alert to see who was at my door. And honey, she was at my door sweeping. And I was like, girl, she ain't never swept my porch. But I guess since we had this cute little conversation, she felt like, oh girl, I'm gonna sweep my girl's porch. And so she swept the little pine needles off my porch. I was like, okay. That's sweet. Um, hey D, how are you? So yeah, I didn't really. Do y'all talk to y'all neighbors? Like, are y'all really like chatty Cathy with y'all neighbors? I've never really been that girl. I do think that is because I am trans, and I just don't want. I'm an old school '90s film queen, and so my tea is always, I don't want people to know my tea. It's not always about being stealth. It's not always about being stealth. Uh, it's just about the less you know about me, the less problems. I'm paranoid and not paranoid. That's too heavy of a word, but I just have learned in my life that the less your neighbors know about you, the less problems that you have. That's just what I have experienced in my life as a Black trans woman. If I'm just the mean Black lady that don't talk to nobody, it stops a lot of bullshit. And not necessarily mean, but I'm just not if you speak, I speak. You get what I'm saying? But I don't want you coming knocking on my door asking me for no sugar. I don't want you coming knocking on my door asking me nothing. I don't want you I'm just one of them people that I don't know. I just haven't had good experiences. Like a good neighbor, stay over there. That is funny. Yeah, basically, I just don't want to open up the door for shenanigans and people knocking on my door, asking for stuff, or um, and I think it's because of just what I've experienced. I remember when I was a sex worker, I didn't want my neighbors asking me questions about who coming in and out of my house. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, I don't want y'all to be too friendly, and I just don't want all of that. Yeah, I don't want to know any of my new neighbors asking to borrow shit. Yeah. So, yeah, I just don't do that. Then there's another layer to me. And I think this I've had experiences like this too. So, early days of our me living here, so think like 2013 or yeah, 2013, 14. I had a white girl roommate. I told y'all about the story of her living with me. And she had her husband. She had my neighbor's husband. She for $100. He was a trick. So I always thought it was kind of I didn't want to be friendly to the neighbor, and then when my roommate done had your husband, you get what I'm saying? Like it felt like weird. So I didn't really. That's another thing that I was like, I didn't want to be the one that's like being friendly and shit, and then if it come out that the the girl was having your husband, then I'm being weird. Does it make sense? That's kind of that's kind of how I felt. I was like, let me not be too friendly because I don't know how this is going to turn out. Then one of our buildings caught on fire twice. So different apartments caught on fire. And so I had to hurry up and go over to her apartment and knock on her door. Not her door, knock on her window. And so just to make sure she got out. And so she know I don't come knocking and don't come talking. I don't talk, don't come. So if I come knocking on your window, bitch, you know it's emergency. Get your motherfucking ass out. And so the apartment had caught on fire, and I didn't know how they was gonna stop it. And so I wanted to make sure she wasn't in there because it's like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Um, and so horrible, horrible, horrible experience, child. And she got out and she was thankful. So that was kind of the very first time that we kind of interacted a little bit on a human level. And then, but really, this past week is the first time we kind of sat down and talked. Like, I didn't even think she spoke English. Because that's the first thing I asked her. Do you speak English? Do you understand what I'm saying? And she was like, yeah. I was like, oh, okay. Because anytime I hear her talking, she's speaking Spanish, girl. I ain't never heard her speak English. So, and then how she talked to me is like very. She always say hola. She don't be saying hi. She don't be saying hey, hi. She be saying hola. So I thought she spoke Spanish, girl. So when I asked her, do you understand what I'm saying? She was like, yeah. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, let me talk to you. And so we sat and talked about, so in my apartment, in my building particularly, we are the only occupied units in my whole building. So we got a bunch of buildings, but for a very long time, for probably like 2 years, we have been the only two residents in our particular building. So think of, you know how there be building 10, building 2, building 11, building, we in building 4. So in building 4, it's only 2 units that's full, me and her. And so we've been like that for about 2 years for some reason. I don't know what's going on with the apartments, but it's only been us. How many units are in the building? Let me think. 24. It has to be like 24 because it goes all the way up to 8. So yeah. So for 401, 402, all the way to 8, and then for 11, 12, I don't know. It goes all the way up. But yeah, but we're the only two in the building. And it's been like that for 2 years. So, but it's I don't know what's going on with my apartment, y'all. I really don't know. They're not filling up the units. Like, I don't know if it's the economy. I don't know if it's, and we don't have a super expensive high rent. So I don't know what's going on, but I don't know if I thought the first year we thought that, oh, they were trying to like push us, wait us out and maybe not renew our lease or something, but no, they renewed our lease like it was no tea. Um yeah, so it's just, I don't know what's going on. But anyway, it's that's just what it is. Have you experienced any paranormal activities? No. It's been the same old same since 2011. It's been the same, other than the units. Like across the building 7, nobody lives in building 7. Building, wait, building, no, it's a bunch of buildings is empty. It's like one in building 8. It's like 2 people. 1, 2, 3, 3 people. Building 7 is empty. Building 6 is empty. Building 5 has 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. Building 10 has 1, 2, 3. I don't know who lives on the other side of building 10. Anyway, it's just not the units are not filled. The units are not filled. So I don't know what's going on. Maybe outpricing the area for new tenants and they plan on turning them into condos. I don't know. Maybe. Oh no. Anyway, so we've talked and she's been nice in doing that. How are they maintaining with such low occupancy rate? Yeah, I don't know what's going on. But they I like the new management. They also always fix stuff. So nothing as far as quality, nothing is going down. So it's not like they're abandoning the apartment. They actually, I see them, some of the apartments I see them renovating them too. So I just feel like maybe they're just going slow, waiting for the midterms or something. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's because the economy, the investors is like, let's hold up until because they did repaint the buildings. They did put some new stuff, like they repainted. Well, they under new management, so they changed the name, new repainted, renovated certain apartments. So they've done stuff, but this was like 2, 3 years ago. So this isn't. It's not like new. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on with them. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Oh, let me tell y'all my scent. So my scent today, I'm feeling quite feminine today. Is this? Now this, I got this from Amazon. This is a fruity floral fragrance. If you do not like florals, you're not gonna like this because this ain't just a floral. This is like a fruity. Imagine like this is a like every flower in the bouquet. This is flower. It's fruity, but it's floral more than anything. It's like if you mixed every beautiful smelling flower and put it in a bouquet, but you're in a like edible arrangement store. Like you know how you go in there and they cutting fruit and you smell the fruits. You smell the fruits, but you holding a bouquet of flowers of all the good smelling flowers. So if you don't like florals, this is not going to be for you. So this is very spring. This is a wall of pretty, powdery, sweet vanilla florals. It's not a gourmand. The vanilla just kind of it's a vanilla and sandalwood. It's just like kind of like a base, but the bright, pretty white beautiful florals with that vanilla base and just a fruity pomegranate, bergamot, lily. Think about like lilies, roses, tuberose, all kinds of florals. This is like floral, but it's sexy. It smells good. It's powdery. It's skin like. It's velvety. It's all that kind of stuff. So it's not like boring floral like fucking carnations or something. It's not that funeral home shit. It's sexy. It's springtime. I just love it. I love this. This is so such a spring freight. It reminds me of the spring. It reminds me of um yeah, just a smooth, velvety, bright, yellow, white, pink, pastels, all that kind of stuff. So it's one of my favorite scents. I brought that Le Labo Lambinum 18 and it's so tea. I pair it with my own leather scents. Ooh, speaking of leather, first of all, Lambinum 18, I feel like they're going to discontinue it. So I bought a bunch because anytime I go to a store, they be out of it. And I'm like, I should have told you about it because people like you go and buy it. And now they sold out. Nah, I'm playing. But yeah, I feel like every time I go to my store, it be sold out of my 18. And I'm like, ooh, what is going on? Are y'all just continuing it? Because sometimes that'll happen. It's like they sold out because they not restocking. I'm like, ooh, I don't know. I don't like it. But speaking of leather, let me see if I can find it. Speaking of leather, I also have a leather fragrance. I don't have it on now, but I found a new one that if you like leather, because leather kind of leans boyish. So some people don't like that. Um, but if you like leather, like amber, some more sweet amber, boyish leather scents, because I feel like this gives like a new car but sexy fragrance. If you like leather fragrances, you need to try this one, and it's cheap. It's from Amazon too. It's cheap and it's a little roly body oil type of situation. It's called Lover's Leather. Lover's Leather. Can I read that? Okay, there we go. Lover's leather. It is. I'm not going to put it on because it's going to clash with this, but it's a very woody oud leather, sexy, but it's like a vanilla in there. It's like a sandalwood. It's very manly. So if you don't like boy scents, this ain't for you. This is very masculine. But I'm somebody who likes to put masculine scents with a little bit of feminine and mix it together and it makes it dope. This is will be a great base for me. And something I learned, something about I don't know what it is. A really good, not too super masculine, but like something that's masculine but not commonly masculine. Like, so I think like vetiver is something that's commonly masculine. So when people smell vetiver, it'd be like, ooh, that smells like a strong, strapping man, strapping young lad. Um, but things that are uncommonly masculine, I think when you wear them, I don't want to say I think, in my experience, when I wear them, I get a lot of response from men. And then when I tell them that it's a man's fragrance, they like, oh, damn, that smells good on you. They don't, first of all, we got to gender everything because motherfuckers is obsessed with gender. If you like a smell, you like a smell. Girl, boy, da 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 da. Da. Let's start there. But sometimes there could be fragrances that are marketed to men that when you put them on, they just smell fucking good. And so people respond to them because you're a woman, a sexy, attractive woman, and it smells good on you. And they don't know that this is a man's scent. They just like it because it smells fucking good. And so I've had a couple of really good scents like that, like a that are like is that the one? No, that's feminine. Mm, I don't know where it's at. I don't see it up there. I can't remember. It must be packed up in my suitcase. But it's one that I like from Penhaligon's called Mr. Sam's. And when I wear Mr. Sam's, it is a boy's fragrance, but they like men respond to it like, oh, what you got on? You smell good. Cause it's like such a fresh and clean and bold fragrance. Um, it's just fresh and clean. And so they respond to it. But yeah, Landon Lum is very powdery, floral, very powdery floral. So I like to layer it with something fruity. But by itself, it's just clean and fresh and powdery and floral, which I love. I love it. There's another one that's a little bit more floral called Isis from Le Labo, um, or Iris. Is it Iris? Let me see if it's Iris Le Labo. Yeah, it's Iris 39. So yeah, Iris 39. Try that one. See if you like that one. If you go back to the store, let them give you a sample fresh. Cause that's a good one too. Now it's a little bit more floral, but you can add it with something like a leather and like you did do that version with a leather would be dope too. I think Iris will go really, really good with this. Yeah. Anyway, make sure y'all thumbs up and did I like the matcha one? I don't think I liked the matcha one. I can't remember. I think somebody let me smell it, but I can't remember. I love this look. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Let me see. What did I miss? Hey, Hills Beat Things. How are you? Thanks for the compliment. I'm in my what's the word? It starts with an A when you have colors that are together in the wheel. Analogous. Analogous colors.
Analogous colors are groups of 3 to 5
Yeah.
colors next to each other on the color wheel,
Yeah. So
sharing a similar hue. They create calm and harmony.
girl, so I love, sometimes I'm feeling analogous. That's what it's called. Yeah. Analogous colors. So colors that are close to each other on the wheel. So you have my yellow, you have my green, and then I have a blue skirt on. Doot, 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 doot. It's really cute. I went to the mall today and because I needed to get a phone case. I didn't find one that I like, but hey, I didn't find one that I like. So yeah, but I wanted to get cute. I wanted to be bright and colorful, and so I did yellow, green, and blue, analogous colors. So y'all know? Did y'all know that was called something when you have multiple colors that are on the right next to each other on the wheel? Sometimes you can do analogous, like if you're somebody who are just trying to get into color, that's something that you can do, especially if you dark skin. If you dark skin, don't be scared of color. Colors pop on y'all so good. Don't be scared of colors. Um, but yeah, I was tipping through, and I have a Is it in? Oh, I must have took it in the bedroom, and I have a yellow heel that is this color and sheer like that. I've showed it on my one of my fashion videos when I had on the green pleated olive skirt and the printed blouse and the yellow heels. I wore them heels again. Um, yeah, it was a. I felt cute today. Very dressed up, cute. I think. Hey Matt, how are you? Hey Jay, thank you, thank you, thank you. Anyway, so let's talk about what we came here to talk about, child. So my question to start the conversation off. Um, my audience is pretty queer, okay? Usually pretty queer, but there's some straight people in here too sometimes. um, what are some of y'all like turnoffs when it comes to a partner that you okay with? Like you don't judge other people for doing whatever, but you kind of don't want your partner doing certain things. It's kind of a turnoff to you. What are those things? And tell me what those things are and we'll discuss. So, and as I said in the beginning of this live, this is sparked by a conversation we had at T.S. Madison's live show, Fact Talk. And so she was saying that her husband can't be a bottom. He can't be a bottom, not be a girl. Amen. um, so my rules, my man can't be no cross dresser, but he can be a bottom work. Um, I am a verse queen, honey. I lean more towards bottom, but I am verse. uh, so I want a person that balances that out. So I want a man who leans more top, but I need you to be versed. I need to be able to um hop in them cakes when I feel like hopping in them cakes. As I said in the last live, shake them sugar cabinets. So I need to be able to but I'm not somebody who needs that all the time. That's just sometimes I feel it, some many times I don't, but sometimes I feel it. And it would be annoying if I felt it and you got an issue with, exploring that side. You feel what I'm saying? So I want to I need somebody who is in that realm. Exactly. Occasionally. Not all the time, but every quarter. Let's schedule it every quarter. Not all the time. I don't need it to be, every week. I don't really even need it to be once a month. But, sometimes, I'm in that mode. I'm in that vibe. And you need to be able to accommodate. And so if you cannot, then you probably are not going to be my type. Yeah, I can't really deal with people who have rules that don't please me. Very birthday and holidays. Right. Not all the time, but every when the good holidays come around. One holiday a season. Um I think I got like this. I'm trying to think of what age. I want to say I really got into cakes for real. Really in my 30s. Like prior to that, I got some cakes, but I got into cakes in my early 30s. Give me the day off. I got into where I was like, ooh, cakes in my 30s, early 30s. I want to say like 32, 33. It's something about that era of time that was like, I'm getting interested in some cakes more often than I was in my 20s. In my teens, definitely not. In my teens, I was definitely one of the girls that would cut you out if you was trying to give me some cakes. I was, it was, I think I talked about this before. When you, so, when you're transitioning, let me speak for myself. I don't know. And y'all tell me when you transition, if the girls are in the room, if this is how you navigated stuff. So listen, when you're a young trans woman, when I was a young warthog, um, I feel like there's a level of rebellion that kind of, for me, that was like, I'm pushing up against whatever narrative, stereotype, or narrative that you have about queer people. I'm pushing up against it in regards to trans people. So, like, being versed, I'm like, no, I'm a girl, you're a boy. I do the girl stuff, you do the boy stuff. It was like almost like I had something to prove, and I hadn't got mature enough to explore all the physicalities of sexuality, all the things that I could do, all the things that I could like, all the things that would come later. In the moment, it was about the rules, the rules, the rules, because if I don't adhere to the rules, then I'm proving people right that I am just a homosexual, that I'm just a man wanting to do gay shit. And it was more about the gender roles and the rules that I felt like I was supposed to adhere to because I'm a woman now. So this is what I'm supposed to do. Does it make sense? So it was more about fitting the gender roles and not just about presentation, about what we do in the bedroom. Because if we do in that time, if we do all of this other stuff, then it's gonna trigger my dysphoria. It's gonna make me feel like a man, make me feel like a boy, make me feel like, you know, like you with me because you a punk. trying to use me as the gateway until your punk lifestyle. No, you is not gonna use me in that way. I'm a woman. How dare you? What type of activities do you do with the cakes? Pagan? I mean, all the activities. All the activities that you can do with cakes. So in my earlier years, it was about the rules. It was about what I felt aligned with the gender roles, aligned with the gender that I was transitioning to, and anybody who was trying to get with me, they had to adhere to those rules because if they didn't, it would turn me off. It would be like, ooh, ooh, no. So I told y'all the story about years ago, my high school friend Ronnie, and how, honey, he came over to do all of this kind of queer stuff. And I was like, no. What? How dare you? I'm a woman. Which is hilarious now because, I'm so adamantly verse. But at the time, it was like, no. It was so appalling. It was so appalling. And so I think really, of course, sex worker is going to change you because when I was a sex worker, I didn't really advertise as a bottom. So that really wasn't my tea. Me and my homegirl talked about this because we both were sex workers. And so she's the type, how she mentally deals with sex work in that way. She's the type that she can get plowed, plunged, get her cakes wore out by anybody. That's something that she doesn't think about. She can just bend over and they do it. But she's the type of person that she can't give everybody head. That's something that she kind of has a hang up about. So being advertising as a bottom, it's easy for her to do. I'm the total opposite. Honey, I can slap a condom on you and give you head anytime. Girl, that's easy. But somebody going up in my cakes back to back to back to back. No, no, y'all not. I'm not somebody who can deal with that. So I never really advertised as a bottom in my sex worker life. So I kind of, it was, people I was in relationships with, or people that I was, like I meet up my booze, that kind of stuff, who I was hooking up with in that way. So I remember just how sex works kind of opened me up to not only exploring different pleasures of, you know, what can be done sexually, but also just it sex works really got me way more comfortable with my body, way more comfortable with appreciating it outside of my own flaws and insecurities about my body. So when you transition, immediately your flaws become like the priority to fix. Your flaws become, oh, what looks feminine, what looks masculine, what's getting you clock, what's not getting you clock. Ooh, what surgeries can I get? What surgeries can I get? What surgeries exist? What surgeries don't exist? What's the strat? What, how much does it cost? What is affordable that I can do? What is not affordable? You know what I'm saying? It's a focus on fixing things that need to be fixed. Um, so just a hyper focus on your flaws. And so what sex work actually done for me that is the positive is it got me thinking positively about myself outside of those flaws. So, you know, how can I sit and think, oh, I haven't got to the level I want to be. And my breasts aren't big enough. My curves aren't curving. I'm not. I'm not. I ain't got my FFS. I ain't got this. I ain't got all the things. Whatever the things that you need. How can I have hangups around that when every damn day men are coming spending top dollar praising and worshiping you where you are. Like it started to be like a weird illogical contradiction. And I am, if nothing else, very self-aware. I remember when I was in college, and I just felt like going to college, it felt counterproductive to be smoking weed. And so I stopped smoking weed because even though I was smoking it in high school, when I got to college, it just felt like, why are you smoking weed in high school? That's like in college. That's like stupid. What are you doing? Why are you frying your brain cells? And so for me, it felt like silly. And so it's similar to this. It felt silly for me to be beating myself up about flaws and not about all this stuff that I didn't have when literally these men were coming and just worshiping me and complimenting me on where I was. It wasn't about, oh, you would be so bad if you got this. You would be perfect if you got that. They weren't, they were like, I like how you are now. I like this part of you. I like, and it just goes, and it just every time I would advance, it would be like, oh dang, yeah, oh yeah, it looks so real. It looks so. It just started to be. It just was an example of love. Love how you. If they can love me how I am now, why can't I love me how I love? You know what I'm saying? Why can't if they can love me how I am now in the process? Why can't I love myself in the process? You feel what I'm saying? Like we talk about giving the grace of meeting people where they are. Why can't I do that to myself? Like, yeah, you aren't where you want to be, but you're not where you used to be. You learn how to do this. You on hormones and it's doing this and it's softening you up and you got this far and you did this and you did that and you got to this level and you got to every time I would do something to make myself look better, I started to like really, really appreciate where I was in my transition. So it was like, oh, my my cores are starting to pop. You remember? Did y'all used to say that when y'all was growing up? When y'all was growing y'all breasts for the first time, ladies, and you're like, oh, ooh, my core is about to pop. Because those your breast ducts start to get big and swell and it just they grow and you're like, oh, I'm starting to feel when I walk, I'm feeling the breast bounce and shake. I'm like, oh, it's that moment. Hey Moni, thank you, Moni. So it's that moment that you feel like, oh, these changes, enjoy them in the moment instead of I had to learn through clients, which is sad, but It's the truth. I had to learn that appreciate the journey. Don't just focus on the destination and how far you are from the destination. Focus on enjoying what you have now. And so that's something that sex work kind of taught me. But simultaneously, it also taught me that, girl, this is the only body you got. My little knots coming in, right? My knots is coming in, right? And so this is the body that you have, okay? So this is the body that you have. You ain't gonna get no other body. I remember the exact moment, and I told y'all about this before, but there was this dude named Dennis. Dennis was so my type. He was a hood nigga. He was tall. He was dark skinned. He was like 6'6", 6'5", and tall, dark skinned hood nigga. Ain't never been out the hood. Still live in the hood, right to this day. Huge ass dick, and I would have to. He would come and slay me, and I would have to hide my piece all the time. He knew I was trans, but I'm hiding my piece. I'm not. There is nothing. I gotta wait till he leave to masturbate to get off. Like it just was this. It just was this one day. I don't know what. I don't know what shifted, but this one particular day, baby. All he has slayed me all night. All night. Slay. All for free, no charging. This wasn't this wasn't a trick. Slay. I had missed clients because I wasn't answering the phone. Cause honey, Dennis was over and he was slaying my cookies and treating me like a woman and wearing me out. Slay. Over and over many nuts. Baby, he gets up the next morning after spending the night, gets up, kisses me on my forehead and leave. And I gotta masturbate when he gone because I was so I'm I'm trying to keep I don't know. I'm trying to I don't know. I'm like, I'm not opening myself up to pleasure, like any kind of pleasure other than what centers him and his dick. And so I felt so used. I felt so like I just was sitting there like, this is so fucking stupid. Like, what am I having? I got people paying me thousands of dollars and I'm having this nigga for free and I can't even get a nut while he's here. Like it all started to feel like stupid. Not started. It was like in that moment it felt stupid. And so I'm like, I'm never doing this again. I'm not hooking up with anybody that is not centering my pleasure, that is not making me get off. You see what I'm saying? So that's what it was. So after that day, I said, no, I'm not gonna do anything with anybody unless they get me off too. That's what it is. And it's been like that ever since. That was like in my early to mid 20s. And so I started to realize that, yo, this is your body. This is the body you have. And until something change, this is how you get pleasure. This is how you get off. And so they got to figure out a way. If they don't want to be with a trans woman, don't be with a trans woman. If you want to just have anal, you can have anal with a sister woman. What's the what's the point if you're not doing enjoying the full experience of a titties at the top and dick at the bottom. If you're not ready and willing to participate in the whole thing, then why are you here? And why am I letting a nigga come over and use me in that way when I got niggas paying me? Why would I do that? That's late. That's tired. So it just started to feel extra tired. Like I felt like it was on some cognitive dissonance type of shit, just on some sexual level. So I stopped doing it. I started centering my pleasure, and it changed my sexual life. It changed everything because I started to have the best experiences of my life because now I'm centering my pleasure instead of just a niggas. So, but I do remember there was a time in that era where there was something about a man letting me top him that felt emasculating. So there's a transition period where I will hook up with certain dudes and yeah, we can do this. But then when I would hook up with them and I would top them, it would make me feel some kind of way about them. It'd be like, ugh. It would, you know what I'm saying? It would make me feel, it would be an emasculating thing. And so I would have to work through that. I would have to be like, why is this emasculating him? Why do you think, why is this something that you have a hang up about? Like, why is him bottoming automatically something that makes him less of a man to you, or less straight, or less this, or less that? But any other way, you making an exception. Do you see what I'm saying? There was a hypocrisy in it. It was like a it was like something weird that I couldn't explain. And yeah, I started to pay attention to what other how it correlated with other shit that other people were saying. So for example, if I'm my brain is saying, "Oh, if you topping, then you less than a man." Or if I'ma deal with you, I deal with you on some sneaky link, and we can be buck wild and do all the things. But if you're gonna be my man, you can't do that. It started to remind me of things that I would hear people say about other scenarios. For example, like when somebody would say, um, I'm okay with gay people, I'm cool with gay people, but my child can't be gay. Why? Like, why all of a sudden you draw the line at your particular child if that's not homophobic? Do you see what I'm saying? That's homophobic. And if you're doing that to me in your bedroom, it got to be rooted in the same homophobia. Like, if all of a sudden him bottoming makes him gay or makes him um, less of a man, that is rooted in homophobia because you are saying that a man who gets bottom, clearly you associate bottoming with the woman role or the female role or whatever, however you want to, the language you want to use. You take that as the woman role. And so if he's getting plunged, then that emasculates him to you. Does that make sense? And so if that emasculates him, there's something in your psyche that says, this is for boys, this is for girls, and boys do this, girls do that. And if he's bottoming, I think he's less of a man, and that's homophobic. That's I don't want my man to be that. I want my man to fit certain gender roles. And when we talked about that at the show, at Madison's show, Madison was like, I don't think that's homophobic. But I think the problem with when you say something's homophobic, it's similar to like white people. When you tell a white person when they do something small, I'm not talking about Ku Klux Klan racist, but when they do something small or microaggression, and you say, "Ooh, that's a microaggression. That's rooted in racism. Like that's kind of on some racist shit." And they said, "Racist? I'm not racist. What? No." And they don't understand. I'm not calling you a Klan member, but this little you coming over here and touching my afro, like petting me because you don't have black friends and you intrigued by my hair, sweetie, that's rooted in racism. if you what I don't know, anything that you there's so many different things, that so many different little microaggressions that you could say, and you'd be like, that's kind of racist. And they are more offended by being labeled than actually examining the actions. Does it make sense? Like the word racist is like, oh, I'm not a racist. They're more like, oh, I don't want to be that. I don't want to be that. I don't want to be that. But they don't understand how pervasive racism can be. And so, no, I don't think you may not in your brain think that, oh, white people are better than black people. You might not be like that. We're the superior race. You might not be on that extreme level of racism, but because racism is so pervasive through culture and through different stereotypes, blah, 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 sometimes your actions or your thoughts or, you know, how you think about things can be rooted in racism. And so it doesn't mean that you're some full out racist, but you got some anti-blackness in you. You got some type of ideology or some type of idea of black people that may be rooted in racism and you're ignorant to it. And so when I say, hey, that's kind of rooted in some racist stuff, you can't be more offended by the label than you are acknowledging where this situation, that whatever you're doing, this behavior is rooted in. Does it make sense? So let me think of another one. So racism, colorist. If you're the type of person, so yeah, you on a surface level, you want to dismantle colorism because you feel like, oh yeah, I see that dark skinned people getting treated differently. So yes, on an ethical, moral level, I want it to be equal. I want dark skinned people to be treated fairly in this colorist world. On the surface level, you want that. But if you're the type of person say, oh, I only date light skinned boys, they just pretty to me. They just more pretty. And that's just my preference. Your preference is rooted in colorism. And so your behavior in choosing only light skinned boys with the pretty eyes and da 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 because they're just more pretty, because they're more da 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 da, that behavior is a colorist behavior. That's what it is. That's what it is. I'm not a colorist. I don't. I don't. I don't treat people bad because they. No, that don't mean about you treating people bad, but your preference is rooted in colorism. If you find yourself only dating light skinned people, that's just what it is. And there's a flip side to it. So like me, I like dark skinned men. But I had to realize that my appreciation and love for dark skinned men was rooted in colorism too. So when somebody, if I didn't examine that, I could easily be like, oh no, I don't have no colorist ideology. Is it colors if you prefer dark skinned people? Yes. Yes. So if it depends on why. It depends on your root cause of that. So for example, if I only date dark skinned people, I'm gonna ask myself why. So for me, why it is for me, I felt like dark skinned boys were more masculine. That is a colorist idea because if dark skinned boys are more masculine, what is the inverse to that? What is the hidden premise? What is the logical subtext of that statement? If I think dark skinned boys are more masculine, what do I think about dark skinned girls? Or what do I think about why is light skinned boys more feminine? Do you see what I'm saying? Like if you think dark skinned boys are more masculine, what does that mean? On the other side, when somebody else is dark skinned, that's not a man. So, because I'm somebody who, even when I was younger, liked dark skinned women, and I never looked at dark skinned women and thought that they were ugly. I always thought that they were beautiful, never thought of them as being masculine. So my initial reaction was, what? No, I don't think dark skinned women are masculine. But my colorist behavior didn't show up on the woman side because I don't date women. So when I look at women, I can appreciate a beautiful dark skinned girl and a beautiful light skinned girl. I can appreciate all of them. So my colorist behavior didn't show up with 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 women. Who came up with all this crap? What does that even mean, Andre? I don't know. Who came up with what? Racism? Who came up with racism? That's a long explanation. I mean, you don't know who came up with racism. It's tons of people played a part in the growth of racism. What do you mean? Who came up with all of this crap? What does that even mean? Explain that question. Do you not understand racism in that way? Racism. That's how racism works. Like colorism is like a offshoot of racism, where white is better and dark is not. Light is better, dark is not. That's a part of the whole. That's a part of the whole racism thing, and that's a lot to explain if you don't understand how that works. Like you don't understand how that's an colorism is an offshoot of racism, or are you just not making the connection of how that came to be? Like that's always been like a stereotype that the lighter you are, the more soft and feminine it is because of how white supremacy works and racism works and how skin tone and color, how that all plays a part. But that's what I'm explaining to you. It's an offshoot of racism because being light is associated with softness. The lighter you are is the more soft, the more feminine, the more meek and mild you are. Where if you're dark, you are more of a brute. All racism, good, yes, good and bad here. All of that is like is colorism, texturism, and featureism. So texturism is going to be the curly hair, the straight hair. The straighter your hair is the good. The more kinky and nappier hair is the bad. When featureism is the more Afro ugh, Afrocentric, more ethnic your features are, the bigger the nose, the wider the lips. All of it is bullshit, though. I never saw it that way. It's not, it's bullshit in the sense of, are you saying it's bullshit like it's not real, or bullshit as in you don't agree with it, which is okay. I think that's good that you don't agree with it. But racism is real, colorism is real. Racism is real, colorism is real. All of these things is legit and real. House worker versus field worker, who who looks more clean, who looks more refined, more classy. All of this is connected to racism. These are all offshoots of racism. Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, that's it's all, and it's inundated in how we are brought up. What we see on TV is not just, it's pervasive. But even that, like even you saying, but dude had muscles and he wasn't a punk. What is a punk? What does that mean? And what does muscles mean? Does muscles mean that you're not feminine? I know some feminine guys with muscles. Do you see what I'm saying? Like all of these aspects have a connotation that people, that you kind of learn, and you there is pervasive, so you don't know that you're learning it, but you are learning it. It's worldwide though. It goes beyond black people. Yes, it's global. He wasn't soft. How would you know? I think that's I think I know what you're saying, but I think that goes to the heart of what we're talking about. There's a lot of what could be considered soft could be considered. One moment a person could be soft. Somebody said recently, I don't know no gay man that's masculine all the time. And I was like, I don't know a man, not just gay, but a man that's masculine all the time. The somewhere in there is a somewhere in there, if you once you get to know them, there's going to be some type of femininity there, some kind of softness, especially when they let their guard down and the performance is down. It could be so many ways, but I think it's real. I just when I don't when you say, I just don't want, this is what I'm trying to get clear. Are you, when you say I don't agree with it, are you saying I don't believe it's right, or I don't agree with it existing? I think those are two different things. And I would agree with you if you're saying I don't agree with it being right. He never backed down from no one. So yeah, so I think you're gonna find examples of people who don't fit. I think you're gonna always find examples of people who don't fit a stereotype. Yeah, I don't think it's right. Yeah, it's silly. And yeah, definitely bullshit in that way because you're gonna always find people, many people that don't fit a stereotype, of course. But the system does exist, and there's somewhere in everybody, because it's pervasive in our culture. I think it's easy for people to see it in other people. It's easy for people to point it out in other people, but I don't think it's as easy for people to point it out in themselves, especially if they're not super extreme with it. For example, it which is what I was trying to explain. I was explaining how some people are more against the word than against the actual uncovering the behavior that says that's anti-black. You so busy, you get so defensive when I call out some racist behavior that you're not trying to dismantle the behavior because you're stuck on being called a racist or stuck on being called the behavior being called racist. As soon as you hear racist, it's like and I think that's something about homophobic too, because somebody could be like, "What? I'm not homophobic. I'm not homophobic. I love gay people. I think people can do what they want to do." Da 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 da. Yes, but if you're saying that a man is less of a man because he is bisexual, if you are saying a man is less of a man because he's doing certain acts, he's getting pegged, I think that that is rooted in homophobia because you feel like homosexuals who bottom are less of men. That goes back to like Dr. Heavenly saying that they're not real men, or what did Dr. Heavenly say about the gays? What was her wording? Something weird and homophobic. I'm talking about real men. She was talking about straight men, but when you say real men, what do you mean? You don't think gay men are real men just because they gay? I can't remember exactly what Dr. Heavenly said. Tony said ballroom categories really show that colorism in our community. Definitely. Definitely for sure. Um hmm. I think it's a lot of it's a lot of stuff that we don't discuss that are so antiquated about ballroom. I think the realness category is antiquated and rooted in transphobia. If I'm to be honest, I think the realness categories are antiquated. I understood them back in the day. I understood why they exist, why we needed them. We had to prove that we can look and move just like y'all and da 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 da. I get it. I understand it. But is that appropriate now? Is it appropriate now? Um, yeah. I don't know. I don't think it's appropriate now. I think realness categories is centering cis heteronormativity, and I don't think that I think we're past that now. I think this is what I think the non-binary movement, its iteration. I'm not talking about, a lot of old heads be like, non-binary is just androgynous. And I think it's more about the identity now, other than gender expression. Being androgynous back in our day was about gender expression. This is about identity, gender identity. And so I think a part of their work is dismantling that. And so that's not my job because I'm binary. But I think a part of the power of their work is that if everybody is free to be however they want to be, then it gives room for people who are in transition that want to be binary. It gives room for them to be even more safe, because no matter where they fall in how they fail in being perfectly in the gender binary, they still can be safe and normalized. And so I think that's powerful in that work. It's funny to think how we could be friends, but a lot of girls wouldn't be caught dead in public with those girls who didn't pass. I used to be like that when I was younger. If For me, it was about just wanting to kind of just live and not have to deal with the drama that comes with being clocked. Yeah, it was just when I was younger. But I learned through my experience with some of my friends who I really loved that I was being transphobic. Like I was being, and I was that was a learning moment for me. That was a learning moment for me. It was, I was so defensive about it. How can I be transphobic and I'm trans? But my behavior of shunning them and not wanting them to go to the club with me, not wanting to go to the Walmart in the daytime with them if they weren't up to my standards of not being clocky, blah, 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 blah. However, I had to realize, girl, that's rooted in transphobia. You being ashamed of your homegirl just because y'all gonna get clocked? Girl, that's really hypocritical. What if somebody did that to you because you got clocked? You may not get clocked as frequently as her, but what happens when you do and somebody felt that way? Like, oh, I gotta turn away. That's fucking shady. And that's rooted in transphobia. So, bitch, get your shit together. But I remember when I first was called out about it, I felt very defensive. Like, what? Because I was so hung up on being the transphobe instead of actual behavior and knowing that that's rooted in that behavior. I hate hearing the real man term. It's so many men that are masculine. It's so many men that are masculine. So he perceived to be tough, but he's gay. Be able to fight and protect, but he's not a real man. But I'm pretty sure, Andre, which always the point of my conversation is for us to be reflective. I'm pretty sure if I was in your brain and because I don't want you to be self-righteous in this conversation too. Because it's kind of like anti-blackness. It's kind of like, there's somewhere that it shows up for you. Have you figured that out in yourself? Because it's easy to see it in other people, but have you figured out where it shows up for you? It may not show up in the extreme ways of thinking like that for some, like other people, But where in your life, in your behavior, does anti-blackness show up, or homophobia show up, or misogyny show up? Because it's easy to see it in other people, but where does it show up in your particular life? Another thing, let me give you a simple way of that sometimes misogyny, a simple non-threatening way that sometimes misogyny shows up in gay men, particularly when it comes to women. If you are a gay man that think a woman is less than a woman if she's not dressed up, or if she doesn't do herself up all the time, if if she's more womanly, if she's more feminine, that that idea that she's less than a woman if she doesn't do that, not everybody thinks this, but I've seen this many, many times where I think women should just, I've seen gay men say this a lot. I think, girl, you're a woman. Be a woman. You should always have your heels on. You should always be feminine. Da 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 da. That sentiment, while it's not dangerous and it's not harmful, that's rooted in misogyny. If you feel like a woman should adhere to those gender roles by expressing her gender in a particular way, while that is not violent, that's not harmful, and it could be seen as something nice and sweet, and uh, um, it doesn't seem like a threat in the way that some straight man would do it. It's still rooted in misogyny. It's still rooted in how you think a woman should present. That's one way. I see that's really, really common. I'm trying to think of another way. Um, it's just some. It's sometimes it's not always, oh, women are beneath men. Sometimes your misogyny comes out in just in more subtle ways. And I think those are the ones, especially when it comes from ourselves, that people don't examine. They can easily see how those systems come out in other people, how racism, colorism, homophobia, transphobia, misogyny, how those come out in other people in subtle ways, especially if it's something that you are used to paying attention to. Um, Something that you are used to, especially if it's a system that works against you a lot. It's easy for you to see it in other people, but how can you work that out in yourself? It takes a toll, though. I've heard feminine queens say often how taxing it is to hear a butch queen tell them how they should present, or how they present versus other girls. hmm It takes a toll if you let it take a toll. I don't be listening to nobody when it comes to how I look, or how I want to present. Child, get the fuck out of here. But if you are trying to keep up with the Joneses and keep up with what you think they, if you're considering what they're saying, then yeah, it can take a toll. It doesn't for me, because I don't consider what anybody says about my presentation. I didn't become trans to consider other motherfuckers. I became who I am to be me. Um, there is a there is a, it's I don't think it's anybody that doesn't consider anybody at all. At some point, I think you grow to a point where you super super secure about yourself, but at 45, I don't, it doesn't take a toll on me. I think when I was younger, it wasn't really heavy on me, but I do remember a time where I wanted to be liked by certain people. But So I valued their opinion. But if it got too taxing and tolling, child, baby, they not the people for me. But that was me even when I was younger. If it got too hard, I'm out. Mm, yeah, I remember. I just remember just how these certain things made me feel defensive. I remember when my homegirl was calling me out about kind of going away from her when we were in the Walmart because I knew she was about to get clocked. So I'm kind of moving away from her, and how defensive I felt. Girl, like I felt really, really defensive. And so I think once you get through that defensiveness and really see the behavior, that is when you can get to, you get what I'm saying? If you stuck in the denial part, if you stuck in the denial phase and never get through the denial to accept it, you can never get to changing the behavior. If you're denying that it exists, if you're not denying that there's some colorist behavior in you, if you're denying that there's some anti-blackness or anti-blackness ideals in you, that you're working through too. Um, I think one of the most pervasive that people really ignore is classism. How do you think about those hood, ghetto, broke, poor people? How you think they're beneath you if they are looking ghetto and or acting ghetto or don't code switch or don't whatever. I think classism is another one that people have a hard time seeing in their own behavior and their own actions. I have a friend who is a, I think you mean a white, I think, does that mean white reverend ass or a wild reverend ass activist? I have a friend who was a wild reverend ass activist for trans rights, but let someone who transitioned later in life, they really ain't trans. Just a serious activist. Right. So that's not only is that so I feel like that's two systems. That's ageism and transphobia, which I actually think it may not even be transphobia, it might be ageism. If you think just because somebody transitioned later in life that they're not really trans, that gets, because where's the line? Like when we say later in life, where's the line? Are we talking about transition later in life like 25 or later in life like 35, later in life like 45, later in life like 55? Like what's the line that says, oh, for that person, what's that says at this time I would want to ask that person what's the line. My classism used to really come out with other feminine queer black men that I perceived as ghetto. Mine comes out with it doesn't come out how do I explain it? So like it's certain things, I've talked about this before. It's certain things that like certain kind of hair that I can't do because it feels super super bangy to me. Try to think if I can and I be thinking it's pretty. I be liking it and commenting on it. but in but I could never do it on me because I feel like it's ghetto as hell. Let me see if I show y'all. So like this hair right here, let me see if I can find the hair. So I think hair like this is ghetto. But I think it's pretty as hell on her. But like on me, I would never wear this. This is so bangy to me. But I think it's pretty. Like if I seen her in public, I would be like, "Oh, your hair is so pretty." But I could never get that. Let me see another example would be here's a longer version. Like this is giving Benji. But it's pretty. It's undeniably pretty. He is undeniably skilled. But can you see me in hair like this? Like I feel like this is so Benji. And so that's so hood to me. Like where you work at with hair like that? Knowing earlier in life and transitioning later in life have nothing to do with each other. Apples and oranges. Oh my God, I just saw that video this week. Other people can't tell him how to be a real man when he's grown. Had a feeling you was gonna show his styles. He's in my city. Okay, Diddy, Dirty Money. But it ain't no. I see the correlation, but Dirty Money is gonna be a little more modern. That is Banji. That's like Detroit 90s hair. Like they were doing that in Detroit in the 90s, that kind of hair. I even they from Detroit, so of course, even like Karen Clark Shear finally carrying album cover. Banji. That's some Banji ass hair. And this is the church lady. She supposed to be classy, but that's some Banji ass hair to me. But that's she from Detroit. This was Detroit hair in the 90s. This was definitely Detroit hair in the 90s. And it's like, oh, you too good for blue braids. Yes. I can't do blue. I can't do hair that are not natural colors because it makes me feel like Miss Thing from Friday. Craig's girlfriend with the braids on Friday. It makes me feel like this. It makes me feel exactly like that. That's where my it comes in. When I see people, I'm not whispering, "Ooh, girl, look at it." I'm not nasty and malicious in that kind of way. Like if I see it, I ain't gonna be like, "Ooh, girl, look at her. She looks so ghetto." Da, da, da." I'm not. That's not my spirit. But I am the type of person like, "Ooh, I know the type of person this is. This is a Banji Hood project bitch." Like that's what I'm gonna automatically think. She could be working. I don't know. She could be a nurse. She could be. I don't know. She could have more money than me. She could. I don't know. She. But in my brain, I'm gonna think you Banji. Halle Berry is bad. She was gorgeous, but ain't no way I'm going to want that look. hmm Does having a late small piece make him less of a man? If so, where that come from? Oh, I don't know. I don't really. I don't really. I ain't really. I'm sure. I mean, maybe somebody said that, but I don't really hear that. It's not a common thing that I've heard, so I don't know. Detroit was known for their hair shows in the '90s. They were the black hair capital in the '90s. To me, so I think classism is something that people. I think even people's response to like a sexy red or a Sukiana. Like these are ghetto girls. These are Banjis. I love this skirt because it has like like some kind of ruffle. Like it's not ruffles, but it's textured. Like the fabric is textured, and so it feels good when I rub on it. It's not ruffles, but it's like little. It kind of is a little ruffle, but they're like short ruffles all over them. The stretch material. Going to a HBCU, you knew the Detroit people. Very stylish, but nothing I would probably wear. I would appreciate it. Yeah, the girls from Detroit in my school, I can't really say that they had Banji style. They had style in regards to like clothes. They definitely had style, but they didn't really do the ghetto hair. I think that they also, because they were in college, there is a respectability politic that they had. I'm not saying all of them, but many of them. And so while I just don't think that that side came to our school. That side of Detroit came to our school because it wasn't too. Their personality was Banji, but how they styled their hair, how they did that, it wasn't as Banji as I remember when I went to Detroit. So yeah, we didn't. We had Banji Detroit girls, but they weren't. I wouldn't consider them to be. They were Banji in personality, not Banji in hair styling. Detroit has always been bold in their fashion. I can compare them to early 2000 Jersey fashion. If you know, you know. Our Detroit student did the colorful furs, colorful Timberlands, just extra. I'm trying to think of I don't know. We were a black school, so all of that was normal for us. Like from everybody, from being colorful. There's certain I don't know. I just feel like that's a part of being black. um I don't know. So from everywhere there were most people weren't wearing Tims unless they you could tell the Tim wears was like either from the East Coast. I don't remember people wearing Tims from Detroit in our school. I don't remember them. You could we we knew the East Coast people because they wore Tims. That's how we knew the East Coast people. They wore Tims year round, girls and boys. I don't. I just remember the Detroit people being more advanced in a sense, especially around queerness, like gay shit. That it wasn't nothing to them. Like queer shit, trans shit, it wasn't nothing to the Detroit people. It wasn't nothing to the New Orleans people. It was nothing to the New York people. You can tell that the people from New York, Detroit, and New Orleans, there was LGBT people in the culture of their city because it was so nothing to them. Like they like, girl, what? Why is we don't understand why that's a big deal. New Orleans, New York, and California, of course. California, Detroit, New York, um, New Orleans. Queerness was not a thing to them when I was in school. So that's what I remember about Detroit people. Just that it wasn't that, but their personality was ghetto, but they dressed regular. Nothing really was standing. I'm trying to think of what group of people stood out fashion wise. Yeah, I remember just the New Yorkers being the Tims that really made them stand out. Um, they didn't really have. You think Cali is bold banjo? Yeah, if you're from Oakland, South Central, Crenshaw, um, is it Riverside of San Diego, child? You from Oakland? You from? It depends on where you're from. I think, all the cities in California got somewhere. I think Oakland is a little bit more hood than San Francisco, but I mean, if you actually be in San Francisco, it's some, in the Tenderloin, and you go certain places in San Francisco, it's Banji. But I think Oakland is, you know, one of the most common places that you would think about that I meet Banji Bay Area people from. When I go to LA, any place that's like Crenshaw, South Central, Compton, Inglewood, certain parts of Long Beach. Yeah, every city got their hoods. Every city got their Banji. Houston is gonna be like Sunnyside, Greens Point, Acres Home, A Leaf. Um, yeah, you haven't seen them South Central baddies, Turner. Yeah, it's certain. Every place got they Banjis. Every single place. Make sure y'all thumbs up. It is 40 people in here, and it's only 28 thumbs up. What y'all doing? It's free to thumbs up. There's a hood everywhere. Exactly. People forget that some of the fattest places from the South are very country because of the migration. South Cali is very country. What do you consider country? Yeah, you definitely need to get this fresh because it's so good. It's like amber and leather, like amber and leather. It's called Lover's Leather. It's like sweet and vanilla, and it's so good. I love it. It's so dope. Mm. I would love this in like a hair oil. I feel like this would smell good if you put it in a like a shea butter. The Benji styles are based in country, less sophisticated styles. Yeah, I disagree with that. I feel like urban cities create their own style. I don't think it comes from country. Most places that I live that are country, they don't even be doing their hair like that. Not in a. I don't see it. I don't see it. I just don't see them doing it that I consider country. I feel like country places that I have lived and that I have visited. Country places are way more conservative. That even the bangy hairstyles, like I'm talking about, they won't even do that because it's not conservative enough. Honey, they'll give you a simple flat iron roller set. Country girls, for me, if we talk about hair, it'd be simple. It'd be very plain Jane. It don't be loud, and I don't experience country in that way. You'll get a rap and a do, but yeah, you get a simple flat iron, a simple, little bump the ends. It be real simple. It don't be feathered and bobs. You'll catch them sometimes if they kind of jazzy, if they soulful, they jazzy. Yeah, they would consider country girls. That's that's what country people would consider that. Oh, she jazzy because she do all of that. But most country people don't. They be plain Janes that I know of. So I think, yeah, I wouldn't agree with it being something that's kind of. I think that's urban. I think that's how urban people show their creativity, and I don't think it's negative at all. I don't think it's negative. I just think that it comes for me, my personal reflection of myself. It does come with a judgment of class, a class's judgment that I'd be like, girl, where she go to work with that hair? Girl, what did it? I'll think of it in my brain like, oh, she's Banji. I'll have a whole, you know, could be wrong, but it'll be a judgment of what type of person they are. Like a waffle texture. I don't even, what does that mean? What's a waffle texture? I think country people are colorful in their own way, like especially if it's dress up time. Like not like on day to day, but I think if it's dress up time, I think they can be real colorful. I think they can be colorful as hell. Cause the niggas at the spots that I used to party at when I was younger in the country, rural Mississippi, honey, the men, the older men, the or even the young ones who were trying to be fly, honey, they'll bust out a bright color. They'll bust out a suit in a purple or a red or a green or they'll bust out a Steve Harvey suit in a super bright color and be like, these niggas so soulful. That's what I would call them, soulful. Would you ever move back to Mississippi? Or they're like Stacey Abrams. They're exactly like Stacey Abrams. Yes, they'll be dreaded. They'll be simple, exactly like Stacey Abrams. Would you ever move back to Mississippi? I don't think so. I don't think my friend asked me that recently. My friend Zarandrian, he asked me that recently because I randomly found myself looking at houses in Jackson, and I saw a nice little fixer upper for literally $15,000 in Mississippi, and I'm like, I really could fix up the house, buy it and fix it up. But I'm like, would I want to live in Jackson? I would not. No, thank you. Right. Don't let it be Easter service. You're going to get a color, baby. But I think it's like people used to call Steve Harvey suits country before he got with the new wife. But Steve Harvey was country. Ain't Steve Harvey from like North Carolina or Tennessee or somewhere? He was country. Let me see where's Steve Harvey from originally? Or Texas? He could be from Texas. Okay, Google. Where is Steve Harvey from originally?
Steve Harvey was born in Welch, West Virginia, though he grew up in Cleveland, Ohio.
Not West Virginia. Cleveland niggas is definitely country. It's so righteous in Mississippi area. It is, but Mississippi has the most black people out of any state, at percentage wise. Big logos on clothes is country to me. The folks from Cleveland usually came up from Mississippi, Alabama. Yeah, it's like Chicago too. Like many of the major cities in the northern states, in the Midwest, they come from the South. Are they in control? Actually, yes. Jackson has had black people in political power for a very, very long time. I think that's what people don't know about Mississippi is that, like, do you know that their capital city is 86% black? I don't think people realize because Mississippi has such a racist um, history and, weird politics. There's a lot of conservative black people in Mississippi. Um, they have controlled, black people have controlled the city. Now, outside, like in the rural areas, no, it's similar to any other state where the rural areas are ran by racist white people. But the city, the cities be blue and they be ran by black people, but they be conservative too. Maybe not mega conservative, but they be conservative. Yeah, they let me see. Okay, Google. What percentage of the population in Jackson, Mississippi is African American?
The African American population in Jackson, Mississippi is approximately 82%.
All right, 82. I thought it was 86. I would want to double check that somewhere, but it's really high. Way, way higher than other people. I don't know if y'all a couple of years ago, me and Jay on the podcast, we got into a little um back and forth on the show because I don't know what he was thinking. I think because uh, when I say my hometown is Indiana and I was, born in Indiana, people associate Indiana with a lot of whiteness. And so he was basically implying that because I was in from Indiana, I didn't grow up around a lot of black people. And so he was implying, for whatever reason, I don't know, that I didn't grow up around a lot of black people, so I didn't have some kind of authentic black experience. And I had to check him. I was like, if you look at the population of black people in Indianapolis, they are one of the very few cities in the Midwest that population gets close to or mirrors that of a southern state when it comes to black percentages. So usually we have the most black people in the southern states compared to everywhere else. Percentage wise, we have the most black people. If you go to Georgia, Mississippi, Alabama, Texas, Louisiana, when it comes to percentage of black people, of people in the state, most black folks live in the South, baby. And so in Indianapolis, we have our percentage of black people mirrors that of people in the South. That's why Indianapolis was one of the stops on the Chitlin Circuit because it was a lot of niggas out in Indianapolis. And so I laughed at him because you're trying to invalidate my black experience because you're making assumptions about Indianapolis when, sweetie, we had more black people than y'all. You lived in Madison, Wisconsin, or Milwaukee, Wisconsin, which is only like 8%. I can't remember. It was a couple of years ago. I can't remember. But I was like, sweetheart, you lived in Madison, Wisconsin, which is only like 8% black, if that. 3 to 8, something. Let me see. Okay, Google. What percentage of Madison, Wisconsin is African American in regards to its population?
According to the most recent U.S. Census Bureau data, African Americans make up 7.2% of Madison's population. This figure has remained relatively stable since the 2020 census.
Okay, Google. What about Indianapolis, Indiana?
In Indianapolis, African Americans account for approximately 27.4% to 28% of the total population. This is significantly higher than the statewide average for Indiana, which sits at about 10.6%.
Right. So, my growing up, I didn't have to be around white people like that. So, I went to a predominantly black school. You had the random white woman living down the street with her biracial kids sometimes. Sometimes you have that, but that was very rare. Most of my neighborhoods was black. I grew up around a large black community. So it was for me, it was a gag when he said that because I was like, "You're making a silly ass assumption that doesn't make sense at all. It doesn't make sense at all." And so once I popped him with that, he was like, "Oh, I didn't know that." Yeah, most people don't. If they assume that Indiana is like, you know, like that. There's a lot of yes, it's a white folks, sure, but my city wasn't I my city was black as fuck. But I think it's a lot of people don't understand that too. That it's a lot of conservative black people in the South. Churchy conservative black people in the South that do control particular parts of districts and voter and da 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 da. But yeah, Jackson is one of them. Jackson is definitely one of those places where conservative black people have been ruling it for a long time. Yeah, the Black Expo. hmm We had Circle City Classic. We had the Black Expo. We had tons of black ass cultural shit. We had that's why Madam C.J. Walker, her factory and theater was in Indianapolis. That's why she was able to open her school there. That's why she was able to do factories there because she had a black market there. Like that's where she opened up shop. Where her business was booming. Her theater is still there. Madam C, one of the historical sites, Madam C.J. Walker Theater. Her factory and school was there. It was booming. Also, because of that queer, because of the Chitlin Circuit, because of that blackness, the queer community was booming in Indianapolis too. We had a bunch of drag queens and gay bars, and the queer community was thriving in Indianapolis. Mhm. But yeah, Mississippi, yeah, you go outside of Jackson, it can be real racist, um, real, real fast. Yes, but there's a lot of black folks, a lot of powerful black folks too. That's why we had the Fannie Lou Hamers from Rouville, Mississippi, and Clinton Collier, which was my great 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 uncle. Clinton Collier and all just why all that shit was happening is in then people getting killed in Philadelphia, really Sebastopol. But yeah, it was a lot of powerful black people in Mississippi. Mm-mm-mm-mm. I think the best part about Mississippi for me was it was so backwards that it was safe. If that makes, I don't know how that makes sense, but because they weren't advanced culturally in regards to queerness, it almost was like you were coming into a space with a clean slate. Like most of the time especially when I was in the country parts of Mississippi, most of the time, them people had never met a trans person in their life. So they're or even discussed it or talked about it in that kind of way. So they didn't have a chance. I think that not that it's not an issue, but I think one of the things that is kind of like I don't want to say negative, but I think it can be the negative side of visibility is that people are having so much discourse about transness that people before they even meet a trans person have made up their mind that they're going to be against you, whereas before, when transness wasn't like super in the limelight, when a motherfucker meets you, they might not. They like, oh, they can be surprised, pleasantly surprised by how regular you are, instead of building up this hate of trans people because of Trump, because of propaganda. It wasn't a lot of propaganda out about trans people specifically. Not saying that it didn't exist at all, but you could meet a piece of trade and he just ain't never thought about what he would do with he met a trans woman, what he you know what I'm saying? They just didn't think about it in that way. They hadn't had all these deep discussions and extra shit about trans people like they have now. It's very rare that I meet I mean, it just doesn't exist anymore that I meet anybody that doesn't have some type of reference of a trans person that they know or they seen or that they talked about or had a conversation about, especially with this kind of up to this kind of renaissance in the past that has happened in the past 10 years, 15 years. You know, it's not even sensational anymore. You feel what I'm saying? Like transness, when Isis King or Laverne Cox or Jayla Sims were doing reality TV, it was sensational that they was on reality TV. It was like, oh, we got a man that transitioned to a woman. We got a transgender woman on the show. It was like, it was the more classier, quote unquote, um sensationalism of the Jerry Springer era. It was the evolution. It wasn't as bad as Jerry Springer, but it was just as sensational, just as salacious as to have this type of person to bring the ratings. Does that make sense? Whereas I think that was that late aughts, early 2010s, 15 years later, I don't think people can, it's not as sensationalized as it was before. Can it be token and, you know, do I think Zeus having trans people on their platform fighting and being ghetto and da 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 da? Yes, in certain contexts, it still can be like, wow. But I think just having a trans person on the show for the sake of them being trans, that's no longer a viable rating bringer. Does that make sense? Am I talking crazy? Because I don't think it will bring the ratings like it used to after all of this discourse. If that makes sense to y'all. I just don't think it's the same. I don't think it's this, it used to be like, oh my God, they got a trans woman on the show and people just tuning in just because it's a trans person on the show. I don't think that strategy will work now. I don't think that strategy could would pay off. That trans person has to be doing something. They got to be ghetto. It got to be, you know what I'm saying? They got to be fighting and, doing what they doing on Zeus. More problematic ass with the whole which one is a man shit. Yeah, I don't think that could be a thing nowadays. and that just be the gimmick. I think that that is not that. Also, I haven't thought this thought all the way through, so bear with me if I say the wrong thing. But I also think of it like singers. Singers. Like think about white singers. Why we fuck with Tina Marie so much is Tina Marie was a white girl that had a certain level of soul that we weren't used to. But now with the internet, do you know how many white girls I be hearing singing soulfully? With the gospel inflections and the runs and the power and pretty common. Like it's not. I see that a lot. Like I think about that with singers. I think about that with attractive men with these gym bodies. These gym bros, these gym us seeing these niggas who go to hit the gym, we're not, that isn't normal. I maybe if you live in California by Venice Beach, maybe or whatever, yeah. But I think in the regular society, in regular world, seeing those type of men was not normal. Most niggas, when we see niggas with them big buff ass bodies, they just got out of prison. In where I stayed, if a nigga was all buff and swole like that, they just got out of jail. They that we niggas wasn't just running around with these bodies that we see on the internet, and I think the internet exposes us to that. But and so it's not as surprising. It's not as like, oh wow, you got a badass body. Do you know how many niggas I done seen way more often than when I was younger, and way more often I'm seeing a different level, that type of dude. Does it make sense? Um, or gay. Well, because I lived in Indianapolis, we had a thriving queer community, so I seen a lot of gays. But I can't see it on. I think we're exposed to more. I think we're exposed to more gays with the internet in regards to the different personalities. We have the Duran Bernards, we have the Lil Nas X's. I think we are, but I don't think that they are. I think that they are a little bit, in regards to normalize, a little bit more advanced than um than trans people. I don't think people just being gay on a show is like, ooh, a big deal like it was in the 90s. You feel what I'm saying? Like I don't think it never was a now it can't never be like it was, like a I don't think the Ellen situation could ever happen like it did to her in now. It's like gays in the show, who cares? Even the conservative way we have, and yeah, we had some people like, oh, the gays are in the cartoons now, and da, 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 da. Even that's just a little bit step back, but I just don't think it's that big of a deal. But I think just even a singer, like I remember the kind of singers that we are hearing now, you will only hear them in church. Like you will only hear them in church. Does it make sense? Oh, I think we have one. I think we have I think we have one of the races. I don't know who this is, but that's why we have to I have to put the settings on because people are weirdos. Yeah, so I don't know. I find it to be there's a lot of stuff that we are like I really think about it a lot with the singers. There's so many singers that we are exposed to that I don't think being like I don't think being a good singer is a rarity as it was prior to this era of the internet. We are exposed to some powerhouses just based on the accessibility of the internet where like imagine I know she's the voice now, but imagine Whitney Houston's voice. We never heard it before and it comes out now. It would be it wouldn't have stood out as it did when she came out. We weren't exposed to that level of beautiful voices. Whereas now I think we are. I think we are exposed to so many different beautiful voices that I don't think it would have shined through in the way that it did in the 80s. I agree. I know I still see it more on the internet with how men who are super masculine surprising the straights when they come out as gay, like Jamel Simmons and OBO. Mm. How do I how do I say this? I don't know how to say. I don't know how to articulate what I want to say about that. Um, is OBO and Jamel super masculine? I feel like they are masculine compared to Duran, but are they masculine compared to a regular Degger straight man? I feel like, and maybe I'm biased because I grew up around so many men like them, gay men, that I wouldn't think OBO was straight when I met him. Not that he's not feminine. I don't find him to be flamboyantly feminine, but there's a softness to him. That softness, it's not feminine, it's softness. There's a soft masculinity to him that doesn't read as straight. I would think that he was a gay man. Like I wouldn't think that OBO was straight. Yeah, I find him, of course, to be gorgeous. But I think he is, yeah, I don't think I wouldn't think I don't think I would think he was straight. Masculinity is also somewhat relative to the individual. There is a universal standard, but it's distinct to everyone. What is the level? Hmm. I think nobody can actually fit it perfectly, but I do think that there is and everybody isn't a monolith, but there are just certain things. It's kind of like when if I met Cardi B and she wasn't a superstar, if I met Cardi, not I, this is what happened. I didn't meet her in person, but seeing her online before Cardi B was on Love and Hip Hop. When I saw her videos and saw her engagement, I knew she was from the Bronx. Like I knew that's what part of New York she was from. Like, and while the Bronx, people from the Bronx, they are not a monolith, I can just tell that she was from the Bronx. I feel like that. Like, it's certain things where no, everybody is not exactly the same, but it's certain things that is so similar when y'all have the same identity that I can just tell. And there is something about OBO, something about men like him. There's something about it's that Coleman Domingo. It's not feminine. I call it soft. It's I think some people back in the day, old school word would be like metrosexual. There's a softness, there's a and not soft and weak, but whatever um not dandy. Dandy for me, some of them are dandies, but some of them are not. Um there's a there's a performance of straight masculinity that just feels a certain way that doesn't I'm trying to think of other examples. Who's that? Ryan Coogler. Whatever the difference between Ryan Coogler and OBO, like I think they both have what I'm talking about, but one is just gay and one is straight. Like it just they perform it in different ways. Like it's not the veneer. It has nothing to do with being like hood, thug, da 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 da. But I can tell that he is straight. Like I can tell that this one is straight and this one is gay. I don't know the difference. I don't know how to pinpoint the difference because it's so nuanced. But I would think if I both of them have the same similar um there's something there that's similar, but there's something that's different to where I would think that OBO is gay and Ryan Coogler is straight. Whatever that difference is, I don't know what it is, but I don't know how to articulate it. But like if you took a conservative Democrat and a conservative um and a moderate Democrat and a moderate conservative, they're really really close to each other, but you can just kind of tell which one is which. Where they're really close to each other, but one is on this side of the aisle, one is on this side. That's how I feel about OBO and Ryan Coogler. Like if I was to compare, um, does that make sense, or am I talking crazy to y'all? But I also think, like Chris, I think what you just said, I think it depends on the individual. Because I think all of these things is kind of similar, masculine and feminine. It's similar to the classic statement of beauty is in the eye of the beholder. it isn't just the person who is being beholden. It's also all the things that I bring with me. The person who is seeing, not just the person who's being seen. Like all the things that I think are masculine and feminine, in how I judge you. Do you see what I'm saying? It's not just you. It's not just how you present yourself, or how you look. It's not just you. It's how I perceive the things that you are presenting. And that those two things create a unique blend of perception. They both have that sophisticated urban aura to them, but OBR is more metrosexual of the two men. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah, it's a thin line. I'm trying to think of. Somebody was saying, I don't know who I was commenting. I was commenting on somebody's shit, and they were, oh, Cherry. Cherry. Um and go to Cherry to Boom. Let me go to Cherry had a cisgender woman on her show recently, and there was a video that the cisgender woman was asking a question.
Ways women can tell a man is struggling with his identity is when, to me, I think one of the biggest ways women can tell a man is struggling with his identity is when they're homophobic for no reason. When they're homophobic or transphobic, or they get uncomfortable around gays, there's no reason for you to be uncomfortable around anyone trans or gay for no reason. So let me ask you this. What about the ones that say, okay, even if I'm chilling or I am around, some people feel the need to be extra for whatever reason, and make the straight man feel uncomfortable. Are you talking about as far as someone from the LGBT? No. So if a regular dude was around, because you said if a guy is like homophobic. Mm-hmm. So sometimes I know that the personality or the migat of certain people is just big, Uh-huh. Do you feel like some people can kind of overdo it and make no, but you can't say that either, because a lot of quote unquote straight men have a lot of bigot as well. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of loud straight men. There's a lot of extra straight men. There's a lot of straight men that just want to be seen. They want to be heard. They want to be noticed. They real flashy. But I'm saying very, like the flamboyance. Like if you know a man is straight. But that's an excuse, because men aren't afraid of flamboyant or femininity. That's actually one of the attributes in women that they like. So when they see it in LGBT, whether it be a trans woman or a gay guy, mm-hmm. You're attracted to femininity. To me, I think one of the biggest ways women can tell a man is struggling with his identity.
And in the comments, I say, in the comments, my response was, we only call that bright and colorful personality flamboyant when it applies to queer people. There are plenty of people who are not queer that have flamboyant personalities, that are very rambunctious, bright, very animated personalities that are non-gay people. So if flamboyancy in gay people makes you uncomfortable, but not the flamboyancy in straight people, that's homophobia. And I say that because when we think about many of these comedians, these straight male comedians, they are just as flamboyant as a Duran Bernard. Duran's flamboyancy is rooted in gay culture, whereas these niggas' flamboyancy is rooted in straight people culture. When you see some of these internet comedians, when you see like Desi Banks, when you see some of these dudes doing these silly, flamboyant things. It's just not rooted in gay culture. They're not using our lingo. They're not using our stuff, but they are flamboyant. They are bright personality. I think somebody like a Don't Call Me White Girl, Mona, um her bangy flamboyant side, when she cut that shit on, it's flamboyant. It's that. Soulja Boy. Yes, when we think about I think Lil Bootsy. Lil Bootsy is flamboyant as fuck. He's just not, it's just his flamboyancy is not rooted in gay culture. But he put your pussy on the arm. Put your pussy on the arm. And I'll give you $1,000 right now. Put your pussy on the camera. You're that person. Like you are flamboyant. What's the dude? God, I don't know. Is it Too Finesse? 2 times Finesse. I can't remember his name. I'm about to find it so I can see. Finesse 2 times. I think that's his name. I think he's flamboyant as hell. Let me see. This dude.
Nigga, bitch ass nigga. Y'all don't show love to the fat bitches. Every time I look up, y'all having a debate of is she fat or is she thick? Nigga, she thick and fat. Nigga, I like it, nigga. I love the fuck out of her, nigga. She fat right there, thick right there, little right there, fat right there, fat right there, fat right there, thick right there, little right there, like all the parts is fat. Nigga.
That it his when you watch him on live, he funny as hell. He's flamboyant. He's just not rooted in gay culture. Charleston White, yeah, Charleston White, yes, they are flamboyant. Y'all don't like gay. That's what it is. Y'all don't like gay. That's the thing. Umar Johnson, yes. These are the reason why we like them, because they have flamboyant personalities. That's what it is. I think I recently heard that a lot of this post went viral, whatever, about this gay man saying why all the what did he say? Why all the gay representation is so feminine, and he put a picture up of Saucy Santana, not Lil Nas X, and da 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 da. And I put pictures up of all the popular masculine gay males that is out. The problem is you just hate feminine gay men, and so you're ignoring the popular masculine gay men. You're ignoring them. And naturally, without any bias, the feminine gay man is gonna be more popular because he's more he's gonna stand out more than I feel like inherently masculinity is more boring in human culture. Masculinity is more boring than fucking femininity, especially Western cultures, but even like Eastern cultures. Like there's some cultures that flip the script, but rarely. Women usually are the colorful ones, where the black, especially in Black American culture, is women usually, well, no, not just Black American, just most of the time, women are the more colorful ones. They're gonna have the big bustles. They're gonna have the feathers. They're gonna be the peacocks of our where the men are boring. They're navy blue, brown, black, gray, blue, whatever. Boring ass shit. They're gonna be quite muted and toned down and that. So the more bright colored is gonna get more attention naturally. When it comes to queer people, the goalpost of what acceptable is always moved. Yes, absolutely. And when somebody says something is too much, what is considered too much is always different for different people. Like sometimes it's the way you act is too much. Sometimes it's the way you dress is too much. The way you talk is too much. Being trans is too much. Just be gay. Why you got to be trying to change your gender? It's always something is always the line. Oh, just be a girl. Why you got to be dressing like a boy to the dykes? It's always the line is always moved because they have to move the line because the bottom line is that they don't want to accept you. That's the bottom line. But the bottom line is we just don't want to accept you. And we want to give you all the excuses. But what if the straight man is uncomfortable with the personality of the gay person? Do you know how many personalities that you have to be around that may be uncomfortable? They don't have nothing to do with sexuality, and you navigate them all the time. When you see that unhoused person that got a little bit of touch of mental illness and they walking around you and saying stuff to you and da 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 da. There's tons of times that we have to deal with personality, different personality, that socially awkward, neurospicy girl in your class. That there's so many ways that personality can manifest that you have to navigate as a human being if you're any kind of social. And you just navigate it without any problem. All of a sudden, a flamboyant gay come across you. And what's the opposite of flamboyant that's equal in the lesbian? So is there a opposite that you complain about when it comes to the tomboyish girls who act like niggas? Is that is that flamboyant too? Is that too much too? Sometimes I think they do complain about that too. Well, maybe not complain, but they will say something about it. Oh, she trying to be us. She want to be us. She act just like a nigga. She thinks she one of us. She still can get fucked. She could. They'll say something along that lines about them. But somebody like a Duran or somebody like a Saucy, oh, they just do too much. Yes, I follow Wisdom K. He's dope. But yeah, I think that just rooted in people's homophobia. But when she's a tomboy that ain't gay, that's like D and only like D. It's okay all of a sudden, especially if she cute. But no. Because what's okay then, it may be okay with dudes, but it's not gonna be okay with women. Those type of girls get the get the lectures from their mothers. When you gonna start dressing like a how you gonna get a man dressed like a boy? Then it comes up on the side where the women are upholding patriarchy in that way. the men might calm down, but then other people, and then the gay men, just like I said, if you're not performing femininity the right way, you get judged by other people. And then the tomboys, if you really get to know them, the ones that are straight, they just boyish, they try to get them to be more feminine. Look at Swiss Beats and Alicia Keys, honey. When they out in front of the world, baby, she more feminine now than she ever been. They're gonna try to film you up. So it just twists and turns in other ways. But yeah, I think people just make excuses. I think people make excuses for their hate, and they don't want like I said, they don't want to be labeled as a homophobe. I'm cool with it's just a little too much for me. I just don't like that around me because you're a homophobe. That's what it is. You just not you don't want the people discriminated against. You don't want, you see what I'm saying? You may want them to be cool in other arenas because it doesn't really matter to you. But your homophobia shows up in a particular way. It's just not as bad. Are you going out here bashing and beating people? No. But you do have a particular bias that comes up in certain situations. I always felt like her no makeup turn was Alicia pushing back on the film way they changed her. Maybe. And also her showing off, nigga, you got money now. So bitch, of course you got enough money to go to the dermatologist and get clear skin. So of course you don't want to wear no makeup. Okay, girl. Of course now. But honey, when you had them bumps all over your face in that one video where we can see it through the skin, you had makeup on. We can literally see it in the video. But now you done married, you rich, done married rich, and you got a good dermatologist and he got your skin together. There are plenty of people who get money and get their skin together. Look at Kiki Palmer. Kiki Palmer, honey. Her skin used to be bad, bad. But she got a coin now. Now she got it together. I think the baby helped, but I think her skin was getting together beforehand. But I think she said the baby helped it get even more clear. I think she was talking to somebody and she said it helped get even more clear. Yeah, I think it's quite interesting how it all shows up in every all this stuff shows up differently in everybody's life. I just want people to be more aware of how they buy into some of the bullshit beliefs around masculinity, bullshit beliefs around femininity, bullshit beliefs about sexuality. I think one of the reasons why so many I think one of the reasons why so many people get caught up in being tricked and fooled and wore out by, down low people is because they have a lot of fucking silly beliefs about how a man presents himself, how a straight man presents himself. You don't know how many times I've been in situations where, I knew niggas was messing around and people would be like, oh, I told y'all the story about my ex where, me and my ex was messing around, had been messing around. And his mama said, his mama called me out and was like, you messing around with my son. And his sister immediately said, Mama, you tripping. Like she could, because of her belief of her brother, she couldn't even fathom that we could have dealt with each other because of her image of that. Her image of him. There's so many people like motherfuckers. Think about like on Euphoria, like Cal, oh boy's daddy. Like so many people would think that that was just a regular man, but he was out here doing all kinds of wild shit. It's just because they out here giving y'all a performance that y'all believe. They giving y'all high level, high level high level performance that y'all believe in. Angela Bassett level performance. And y'all are believing it. So I know Diamond, I really enjoyed your Euphoria Marsha play. Thank you for listening. Kyle and Nate, for that matter. Yeah, both of them. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. Getting his sugar cabinets rearranged, right? And that's, yeah, I'm like, oh, it makes me roll my eyes. That's what it does to me. Be like, you don't know what people look like, what people do. That it's not a look. It's not a particular look. But and usually if you think it is, it's because you have a stereotype. But then somebody who doesn't, it sets you up for failure because then you don't. If it's somebody outside of, if you think all gay men is a Duran Bernard, then somebody like Obio would be like, oh, this is a new type of gay. It would be a surprise to you if you think everybody is giving two snaps up in Z formation. But when you meet Omar from The Wire, when you meet a gay nigga that's moved different. But also I think I don't know if it's because I have traveled a lot. I just always have met. You only have to be in the gay community for a short amount of time to realize that there are many gay men who value masculinity, not just in what they're attracted to, but how they want to present themselves. There's a lot of motherfucking, I'm gay, but I'm not gay kind of gays. There's so many of them that I don't even want to go to the gay club. I don't even want to, I just want to be a regular nigga. There's so many of them. And you don't meet them at your, they not going to be going to Pride. They're not going to be going to the gay club. They're going to be out in the hood with the niggas, with the project chicks. They can be openly gay in these spaces, but they're moving like a regular nigga. Also, it's because people love for taboo to come in normal packaging. Mm-hmm. And being that I have seen that so many places, I'm like, I'm not ever surprised by a nigga, me finding out a nigga is trade or nigga mess around. I'm never surprised by that. Never. Never, ever, ever. Never surprised by that. Oh, it's 10. All right, y'all. I'm about to get up off of here. I gotta go to the store before it closed. You know, I hate that the grocery stores ain't 24 hours no more. I don't like that. Sometimes I get up and I feel like going to the store. Yesterday, I felt like it was like 3, 4 in the morning. I was like, ooh, I wish I could go to the grocery store now. Like I used to be able to go to Walmart late at night and just go shopping and yeah, I hate that the stores every place in Houston because of COVID, none of the grocery stores stay open 24 hours no more at all. And I don't like that. Yeah, I miss 24 hours, all my stores. What you ate on today? I didn't eat anything today. I actually haven't eaten. No, yes, I did. I ate I made some a bowl of pho. I learned how to do that in Vietnam too, the easy way. um so yeah, I made a bowl of pho. Do we get a show Saturday? Oh, I don't know. It just depends on if I feel like it. What I'm talking about. It just depends. If something inspires me. Have you seen the clips of Jordan Lucas? I don't even know who Jordan Lucas is. Who is Jordan Lucas? Oh, the volleyball dude. Yeah, so cute. Oh yeah, I seen the clips. He's so cute. I think it's so cute. I think you're wearing it out. I live. Oh my God, Noir, I made me egg coffee and I got my life. Yeah, I'm glad you like it. I'll never drink coffee any other way. Cause I really didn't fuck with coffee like that. But oh, it's so good. I love it. So good. But all right, y'all. Be good. Make sure y'all thumbs up. I will chat with y'all maybe tomorrow. I think if something comes up. Bye-bye.